station. We can tell you without a doubt. Soon you'll see by our presentation what the shouting is all about. I've the pleasure of bringing to you people you're gonna dig the most. Lucky me, I'm the fellow who you have selected to be your host. There's a lot of anticipation. Entertainment is out of sight at our Saturday celebration that we're doing for you tonight. I repeat without hesitation, entertainment is out of sight at our Saturday celebration that we're doing for you tonight.
Listen, Doc, there's nothing like a little Saturday morning TV to get you off to a good start. First, hey, look, it's the Bugs Bunny Show. Then, Yogi's Gang. Super Friends. Lassie's Rescue Rangers. Goober and the Ghost Chasers. Mission Magic. Saturday mornings on ABC. Watch them all, Doc.
See stars shine on CBS Saturday. See Pebbles, Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner, Scooby-Doo, Shazam and Isis, Space Nuts, Ghostbusters, Valley of the Dinosaurs, Fat Albert, the Children's Film Festival.
The legendary superhero Godzilla and Jenna of the Jungle fighting evil.
You can take him!
The Godzilla Power Hour. Then the Fantastic Four, the greatest of comic book heroes. Saturday morning's a great place to be starting September 9th on NBC.
Get ready for a new look to ABC's All-Star Saturday. Starting with that cool cat, the Pink Panther.
Oh, tear him apart!
And Bang Face. Then it's the new 90-minute challenge of the Super Friends. Followed by everybody's favorite, Scooby's All-Stars, starting Saturday.
Shift into high gear when our way out Wascally Wabbit goes cruising for a bruising. There's no snoozing on the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Show. Next, yo-ho-ho, it's Popeye, Bluto, and Olive in the all-new Popeye Hour. Then join the Brown Hornet, Fat Albert, and the Junkyard Whiz Kids on the new Fat Albert Show, Saturdays on CBS.
Saturdays on ABC. It's one of the biggest new hits of the season. It's Thundar the Barbarian, Princess Ariel, and Ookla in an all-new adventure show. And then it's Heathcliff, the cleverest cat in town.
I'm a high-performance pussycat.
With Dingbat and his crazy pals Spare Rib and Nobody. Followed by your old favorite Plastic Man.
Surprise!
And his new little son, Baby Blast.
Superhero!
In 90 minutes of all-new Saturday fun.
Have we got a morning for you? First, it's Godzilla and Hong Kong Phooey. Then it's the Flintstone Comedy Show with my new neighbors, the Frankenstones, and Captain Caveman. All in never-before-seen adventures. Followed by the Daffy Duck Show and Batman and the Super 7, Saturday mornings on NBC.
MeTV, which stands for Memorable Television, is my absolute favorite TV network out there. For years I've been able to pick it up with an over-the-air antenna, and most of the time the signal and picture are pretty darn good. That said, I've always wished that I could just stream MeTV through my set-top box or over my phone or PC, and until recently, that just hasn't been possible, which is a shame because there are parts of the country where folks just can't get MeTV. The Friendly TV streaming service recently added MeTV to their channel lineup. And you know what? They didn't stop there. They've also got Heroes and Icons, better known as H&I, and Decades, and there's even more than that. Right now, Friendly TV has 9 channels that are dedicated to playing classic TV shows and movies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you know what? There's more on the way. The really cool thing is that between all of these channels, it's pretty darn easy to find most of the TV shows that we all loved when we were growing up. And have I mentioned that you get all this for just $6.99 a month? Quite frankly, if MeTV had a streaming service of its own, I'd be willing to pay that price. Now, I should point out that if you do subscribe and stay subscribed, Friendly TV does provide me with a bit of a financial incentive. So not only do you get a ton of great TV, but you get to support my YouTube channel as well.
The Live Stream Code and Rating Administration has rated this online event PG. All ages admitted. Please be kind and stay on topic.
Good evening and welcome to the Good Stuff Live. My name is Dave Sundstrom. And if you enjoy talking about music, movies, who are we kidding? Mostly TV from decades gone by, you've come to the right place. So, Saturday morning cartoons. One of my all-time favorite topics. It's been suggested numerous times. And I am super excited. I think we covered this maybe a year and a half ago on a live stream, but you know what? You can never talk too much about cartoons, especially the good stuff from the 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s. I mean, that's just the sweet spot for animation on TV, especially on Saturday mornings. So I am still fighting a bit of a cold, as you can tell from my voice. So I have brought on a helper tonight. And let me welcome him to the stream, Mr. Thrash Pondo Pons, otherwise known as, we call him Bob sometimes. How are you tonight, Bob?
I'm doing absolutely great, Dave. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure as always.
Well, it's a treat to have you here. Thanks for joining me. And there may be moments where I go on mute and you might just have to, tell one of your world famous dad jokes or do a little song and dance. I really don't care. Whatever you want to do. If you see me hacking away over here, you'll know it's time to act.
If there's one thing I excel at, it's filling dead air.
All right. So let's see who's here. Hang on one sec. We've got lots of folks in the chat. Fred Smithberg, welcome to the live stream. Stardust Memories, Hungry Jerk, Superfan Sean Innes, Steve Tevis, aka The Life and Sad Ending. My flock is everywhere. Rosalita Zarita, welcome. Good to have you here. Crow Minion, John McJunkin, Rachel in the 208, Daryl Johnston, Danny Hooley, Superfan Mike and Kathy, James Dye, Superfan Tracy Roth Myers, Adrian James, Lance Chaffin, John Doe, Custom God, Constance Cherry, Superfan Jason Goldtrap, Mr. Led, Braidwood Inn, aka Justin Aylett. Let's see, Tom Lemery, Superfan Zuberplex, Zen Dwayne, Gary Carpenter, Allo Duarte, Mercury Rising, Chrome Minion, Keith DGAF, Mr. Led. Who else? I think that's about it. For Rob Pinto, Superfan Rob Pinto's in the house tonight. Thrash. Manly Strangers here. Great YouTube username. My friend and your friend, the world famous Pat McCormack is in the house, aka the Golden Rage of TV, and we are all so excited for him to get rolling on his podcast. I believe we are going to be in for a treat. One of those first episodes I believe he has planned is Loretta Swit, and I cannot wait for that. My friend, my lifelong friend, Scott Barnes, is in the house as well. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, Scott. Sarita Abney, Keith E., Corbett, a.k.a. Zod Zoo, Superfan Emily Miller, Dolph Quick, Dennis DeLeo, FTC 22. The list goes on and on. Superfan Danny Staten, Lamont Bradford, Stardust Memories, Marlene Pearson. Boy, I just hate to miss anybody. Danny Hooley, I think I probably already said that. Did I say Superfan Jason Goldtrap? Now I'm just repeating myself. And we do have a couple of super chats to get to. So let's get let's get the business out of the way. First off, we do have an executive producer for the live stream tonight. And executive producers, it's not hard to be an executive producer. All you do is throw down a super chat ahead of the live stream. So tonight's executive producer is Kevin Connor. And very grateful for Kevin. He's one of these guys that, you know what? I never see Kevin in the chat. I think he just watches the live stream but he drops a super chat nearly every single time I do a live stream. And that is truly appreciated. Let me pull that back up on the screen one more time. Thank you so much, Kevin. I do really appreciate your support. And as a form of showing my appreciation to you, I think we will do a little Haas action. You know, I did Bonanza last week on the live stream. And this was one of my favorites.
Thirsty getting shot at.
So there you go. Thanks so much, Kevin. There have been 2 super chats since I started broadcasting this evening. So let me go find those really quick. Let's see. Go over here. Click over here. And the first one is from, of course, mega supporter.
Shawnee.
What a shock. Mega supporter John Collins says, Dave, thank you for your channel. Appreciate all the work that you put into it. Live streams are wonderful. The people in the community of the good stuff are genuine and comfortable. Indeed, they are. And, you know, you're very welcome, John. But I got to say, you know, and there is some work that I put into, you know, putting everything together for the live stream. but I just kind of create the venue, and then you guys make the magic happen. So thank you for your support, and thanks to each and every community member out there. I don't think anyone can say it better than our friend Fred Rogers. So let's go ahead and pull Fred up.
You are special.
Indeed, you are, John Collins, and all of the community members. Let's get to that other super chat real quick. If you see another one out there, Thrash, let me know, okay? This one's just a sticker. It's from Rob Pinto. But thank you so much, Rob. Again, both of these guys are already super fans, so they're channel members. They're lending support for monetarily on a monthly basis as well. So thank you so much, Rob. That's truly appreciated.
I thought I saw one from Dan, one of Dan's channels.
I'll go back and check in just a second. Let's do. I'd like to think that's right after Sammy Davis Jr. gave him a peck on the cheek, but I know that was another episode. Let me quickly check and see if I can see another super chat out here. And you think it was from Danny Staten?
I thought I saw something from Dan early on.
Early on.
I know he's in the house somewhere. Hi, Dan.
Danny's...
A lot of people having fellowship and saying hello, too, by the way. Hello to all of you.
Yeah, I don't see it, so I'll keep looking. I'll look later on when I share. I have a video prepared about my top 5 cartoons. We've welcomed everybody. I've said welcome to you, but Thrash, let's talk a little bit about what the plan is for this evening. You have a little something going on right after, right?
Yes, one of the things I've noticed on your chats is a lot of these night owls want to kind of keep the party going and keep the chat going. And because I'm an insomniac, except Dan's able to get me to like crash on a couple of times. But long story short, I was thinking that since I've been kind of picking up the slack where you don't have your live chats, but since you are having one, I could do one a little later. So what I'm doing tonight is my first annual Dave's the Good Stuff after party. And anyone who wants to keep the chats going when you, Mr. Sunscream, decide to call it a night, can hop on over to my channel and we'll have a little after party live chat, just sort of see where the evening takes us.
I love it. I like to think of it literally. And if this experiment works, maybe it's something we do going forward, right? I like to think of it as live stream part 2. This is part 1 of the live stream. And then part 2 will be over on your channel. So hopefully we can make it happen. It can be relatively painless from a transition standpoint. I'm going to provide everybody. Thrash is going to take off, and I'll stay on for about 3 to 5 minutes. Show a final video, and I'll provide a link that everybody can click on to get over to Thrash's channel. Now, many of you guys know Bob's channel already. You know where it is. You know how to get there, but some of you don't. So for that reason, I'll put the link in the chat, and everybody can just click on that way. Easy way to get on over there and jump into part 2 of tonight's live stream. You can carry on the conversation about cartoons, or I know how it goes on your live streams, Thrash. Sometimes it just goes wherever it goes, right?
It does. It does. Sometimes I'll throw out a question and we'll talk about it for 45 minutes. It was actually kind of fun. That was actually really fun. I had 849 comments simply on what movie should I watch when I end the live chat tonight.
Love it. Love
it. Was a blast.
It.
And you're all welcome to join. Any of you are welcome to join, please.
So that's the plan. So we've got a couple of hours in store for you. Now we're over here on this channel, and at least an hour over on Bob's channel. So folks, hunker down, and let's have a little bit of fun. I did find that that super chat from our buddy Danny State. And he says, let me go ahead and throw this on the screen. He says, 13 o'clock live on Saturday nights. Now, I know for a fact that Danny's been covering all things related to, I think one of his more recent videos, probably just hit today, is on the Ghost live action Ghostbusters that was on Saturdays in the mornings. And with Spencer, Tracy, and Kong. Kong was not the ape. Lots of fun there. And so, folks, if you're not aware what Danny does over on his channel, it's similar but different. Everybody brings their own unique personality to covering the good stuff and talking about retro entertainment. So head on over there. 13 o'clock live on Saturday nights. They're just wild. I know you've been there, Thrash. What do you think about 13 o'clock live?
It kind of reminds me of the old Night Flight on USA. There'll be a central theme, and he'll do the bulk of the show on that, but he mixes it up with really cool music, with posts he gets from other YouTubers, and creates like an ensemble showcased. He's even had a couple of mine posted in this format. But again, if you remember the old Night Flight from the 80s, I remember I used to stay up late to watch it when I was a kid. It's a lot like that.
Awesome. Yeah. So check it out, folks. If that sounds like something you might enjoy, check out his Ghostbusters video, and then definitely check out 13 o'clock live. It's kind of Danny's got an interesting setting for his live stream. It's out there and you outdoors, and you get all sorts of crazy noises. It's a wild event. Let's see. How can I say thank you to my friend Danny? Let's do a little Married with Children. Thank you very much, Danny, and thank you, Christina Applegate. All right. Hey, you know what? I was going to play my video on my top 5, but before we do that, I'd love to hear your top 5 videos, or 3 or 4 or whatever, just the ones that mean the most to you, Bob. And then what I'm going to do is I will, as we play my video, I'll post everybody else's favorite cartoons, and we'll just kind of do that as that video plays. And we'll of course talk about them as well after that video ends. But Bob, why don't you let's go down memory lane. Let's stroll on down memory lane, you and me. And what were your faves?
Well, it's funny. I was frantically jotting down notes tonight, and I actually only could limit myself down to a top 10. But for the purposes of this discussion, I will pick my top half of the top 10, shall we say. And as always, as you know, in no particular order. So I'm going to open up. Well, I'll probably give them chronologically. And I also, one other thing, by the way, there were a lot of really great live action Saturday morning shows on at this time. I omitted them. I thought that might make a better other show.
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot of fave live actions as well, but I thought let's stick to cartoons tonight, and we can talk about Shazam and Isis and Jason of Star Command and Bigfoot and Wild Boy and all those great shows later.
Indeed.
Okay.
So, Valley of the Dinosaurs. Always been a huge dinosaur fan. And the idea of a family getting lost and living with a group of people who live amongst dinosaurs would have been a dream come true. Well, apart from the fact I couldn't get McDonald's. But other than that, it was a dream come true. And it smacked a lot of another show that I loved at the time. So that had to make the cut. Star Trek, the animated series, outstanding. Possibly one of the best made Saturday morning cartoons of all time. It still holds up as canon in the TOS universe. So for you Trekkies out there, and you already know this, not only is it one of the best cartoons ever made, it's actually considered actual Star Trek material. Thundar the Barbarian. Always been a fan of the post-apocalyptic subgenre, and what could be cooler than Thundar? In fact, I was just
So, a
talking with this.
quick Thundar question for you, because I never
Sure.
really watched Thundar. But did he have a lightsaber? Was that a lightsaber that Thundar had?
He did. How Thundar was able to avoid copyright infringement is still beyond me, because he's a carbon copy of Conan the Barbarian. Although Dan actually had this vintage comic, which is even closer than Conan the Barbarian. Even has a girlfriend who's a princess named Ariel. But of course, Thundar got away from that because it was set in the distant future, not in the past. But he had been a slave to a wizard. The wizards sort of controlled the post-apocalyptic world in like a medieval society. He was a slave to this wizard, and when he escaped, he stole a weapon. It was basically a lightsaber. The only difference is it was solar powered, and its Achilles heel, he couldn't use it in the dark. And of course, a lightsaber is not. So my guess is that's how they managed to skate on it. It was a sun sword, not a lightsaber.
Oh yeah, it's a sun sword. That's totally different than a lightsaber. Totally different.
And he had a best friend who was a Wookiee. So
yeah, I remember that too. It felt like it was very much like you take Conan, maybe a little He-Man, throw in some Star Wars, and boom.
It's like who made this? James Cameron? Dances with copyright infringement. But
that's
it
awesome.
was
Go ahead.
It was a really solid Saturday morning cartoon. Skipped a little on the animation, but they all did. But again, post-apocalyptic, I had to throw it in. Let's see. So that's the big three. I'd have to go with, of course, Flash Gordon. The Flash Gordon animated series, absolutely fell in love with it. Again, Robert Ridgely. Robert Ridgely did the voice of Flash Gordon. He also did the voice of Thundar. And if you're keeping score, he was also the voice of Tarzan, the ape man. Robert Ridgely was like the voice of the 70s. So that brings us up to 4. And I'm going to round out. I'm going to go vintage for the last one. One for the primal swamps of my Saturday morning viewing. I'm going to go with the Super Friends.
Oh, nice.
I love the Super Friends. Early Super Friends. In fact, it came up earlier. Were you a fan of the Wonder Twins, or were you a fan of the original sidekicks? And I'm a fan of the original sidekicks, I must confess. In fact, this shows you how far back we're going. When we first moved to Cape Cod back in 1973, we didn't have cable TV because only the rich people had that on Cape Cod back then. We got one channel on our 8-inch black and white TV set, one channel. And thank goodness for Saturday mornings, the Super Friends was on the channel that we had.
Thank goodness. So it was ABC you got. Thank heaven. That's
if I had the affiliate, but yes.
If I had to pick one network, it would be ABC for sure.
So that's
all right. That's a fantastic list. You're going to see that there's a lot of overlap between you and me in terms of what we enjoyed. We are definitely brothers from another mother, my friend. Brothers from another mother. So let me go ahead. And I do see there's a lot of super chats out there, and I will get to them. So thank you so much for everyone for the support. That just means the world to me. You're touching my heart. Thank you, and I'll get to those. But I don't want to, stop. And this is really good conversation. I love the cartoons that Thrash has mentioned so far. Really great list, Bob. So let me go ahead and share my list, and then I'm going to try to highlight folks' comments as we go through my list as well. And we will, after we get done with all that, we'll put a bow on this thing. We will handle the super chats, because I definitely want to say thanks to everybody for that. And we will give away, teaser here, folks. We're going to give away some... we're going to give away an issue of Retro Fan Magazine, the latest issue. Let me see if I have an image of that real quick here. The latest issue is this guy right here. It is the September 2022 edition. It's all about beach movies. But if you'll notice there on the left-hand side, there's some He-Man And there's also the animated version of Zorro, the Filmation version. There's a great article on that. There's a wonderful interview with Norman Lear that I absolutely love. So there's some coverage for Wild Wild West. So just another fantastic edition of Retro Fan. And someone is going to have this copy, $10.95 list price, sent directly to their home as long as they live in the U.S. Now, if you win and you're not in the U.S., I'm going to have to find an alternate prize for you. But trust me, I will find something and you will like it. But Retro Fan, God bless those fine people for continuing to support the channel in this fun way, in sending out copies of the magazine to community members. So we'll do that a little bit later. But without any further stalling, let me go ahead and share my top 5 cartoons, and then we'll keep moving from there. Here we go. I feel so bad that kids these days, they don't have Saturday morning cartoons. There's animated shows all over the place. But there was something special 30, 40 years ago when I was a kid about getting up. I would set an alarm at 6 a.m. and get up super early so I could watch Saturday morning cartoons. And I had my favorites. And so this is my list of my top 5 Saturday morning cartoons. You're going to see some trends here. I had a particular type of cartoons that I liked, and you'll see them here. So we're going to start with number 5, Return to the Planet of Apes. Lasted 1 season. This was, I don't know how many episodes there are of this. I'm going to guess probably somewhere between 10 to 13, and I have not seen this show since it originally aired on, I believe it was NBC in the late 70s. I loved it because it was an opportunity for me to revisit, at least in spirit, the Apes movies that I had discovered only recently. I didn't watch them when they originally came out. I was too young, but I really enjoyed the Planet of the Apes movies, and the whole Apes phenomenon was going on. This was, I think it was pre-Star Wars, so probably 76, maybe early 77, not sure, but great show and memorable for me, and I really enjoyed watching it on Saturday mornings. Number 4. Yep, Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. Let's just call it Fat Albert these days. I really loved this show. I loved the character of Fat Albert and his friends, and this was a show I didn't get tired of, and I learned a lot from. And in the 70s, there was a point, mid-70s and on, where they really, really tried to instill learning and lessons and make sure that the programming was beneficial in terms of good themes and concepts, and there wasn't a lot of fighting left in a lot of the shows, and the thing that was so good about Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids was that, yeah, it was something where you kind of learned a lot of life lessons in it, but it never got too preachy, and it was always a lot of fun to watch. I really loved Scooby-Doo too, and I could have put a screenshot from Scooby-Doo Where Are You, but I guess this was probably my favorite iteration of the Scooby-Doo cartoon shows, and it was just because every week, well, one, it ran, the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You ran for 30 minutes, whereas the Scooby-Doo movies were twice as long, so it was in an hour time slot, probably ran actually 40-some-odd minutes, who knows. But every week there would be a new guest star. What really got me into it was I'm a big superhero fan, as you'll see in a few minutes, and I loved the episodes that Batman and Robin were in, but there were other episodes where we had the Harlem Globetrotters guest star. You can see here the Three Stooges. You had Don Knotts, one of my favorite all-time comedians, Dick Van Dyke, Sandy Duncan, some really weird ones, Sonny and Cher, Laurel and Hardy. Some of them weren't actually real characters or real actors. We had Genie and Babu from the animated I Dream of Jeannie cartoon series. There were many guests over the course of 2 seasons that graced the new Scooby-Doo movies, and it followed very similar formula to the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You.
cartoon show, except you had these added guests, and it made it a lot of fun. Moving on to number 2. Yep, Star Trek, the animated series. I was a huge Star Trek fan, and the fact that they were able to get the original actors back to voice the characters, at least most of the characters. I know we had Shatner, Nimoy, and DeForest Kelley. I am not sure if all of the other original actors were back. I remember reading somewhere a long time ago, and I haven't watched the animated series in years, but that not all of them actually came back. Walter Koenig, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of, wasn't back. As a matter of fact, you see he's not in the screenshot here, so they replaced Chekhov with an alien navigator or helmsman, and well, there you go. We had almost everyone in from the original Star Trek series back, and it was actually pretty darn good, aside from the fact that it had that stock music that it was the same bits of music over and over, and a lot of it wasn't even original to Star Trek. You could hear it in other of the different animated series that were on at the time. I'm trying to think. This was a Filmation animated series, if I remember right, and so all the Filmation stuff had they used the same soundtrack, and that was kind of a bummer. I mean, you had the main Star Trek theme up front or a variation of it, but yeah, it was good. It was good, and a lot of the original writers from the television show were back to help write for this animated series. Episodes were only half hour long, but some really good ones, memorable ones that to this day I still think back on fondly. So number 1 for me, and I had to get up at 6 a.m. out here in Salt Lake City, Utah. 6 a.m. Saturday mornings, get my bowl of cereal, and I would watch Super Friends. And for me, there were many, many different versions of Super Friends over the years, but the original season with Wendy and Marvin, and these were hour-long episodes again, so it gave them an opportunity to tell better stories. Not a lot of fighting, because again, I think we're 73, 74. There's a lot of pressure on the networks to produce television programming for children that is educational, that has characters who are non-confrontational, that solve things through other ways than fisticuffs. So we didn't see the Super Friends fight a lot. In many cases, it would turn out to be a well-meaning scientist who was just misguided and had a plan that was causing havoc, and the Super Friends would have to kind of set the scientist straight. And once everything was figured out, they were all good friends. Even, I believe, there was an episode with aliens. Again, same thing. You would think these aliens were out to take over the world, but at the end of the day, they were just, again, misguided, and once the Super Friends were able to talk some sense into them, all was well. That said, I mean, it's Superman, it's Batman, Robin, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. For me, who I have always been more of a DC Comics guy than a Marvel Comics fan, so seeing these characters on my television set, even early on a Saturday morning, it was just about all I could hope for.
There we go. My list. I think, what was our crossover? Super Friends, Star Trek.
And there's actually a near miss. Planet of the Apes is in my top 10.
Okay.
So I'm going to give us 2.5. We'll call it that. 2.5.
Love it. Yeah, that Planet of the Apes, I saw in the comments someone mentioned that there wasn't a lot, that there was a lot of still images, and there was. The animation wasn't it wasn't Disney level animation. It wasn't even the animation wasn't great. It was hampered by a budget, but I loved the art style in there. It was very much Johnny Quest-esque in its and I believe it had some of the same animators that had been involved in Johnny Quest. And I really, it was one of those things. I think the best cartoons spur the imagination, and you have just as many adventures in your head after the cartoon ends as you do during the half hour that you were watching it with your bowl of cereal. All right, let me handle it. Let's cover these super chats. I feel really bad that it's taken me so long to get to them, but you guys have just all been so darn generous this evening. Thank you so much for the support. Someone said, well, I'll get to it here. Okay, let's see. We got Tracy Roth Myers with a $1.99 super sticker. Thank you so much, Ms. Tracy. Also, I believe I did introduce her as a super fan, but if I did not, super fan of the channel. And someone asked in the chat, how do I become a super fan? Just click on the join button below any of the videos. It's $1.99 a month. You get early access to most of my videos. Every once in a while, one will drop that you folks didn't have early access to, but most of the time, people see it a day or two early. My videos. You also get access to a members-only live stream. I do a couple of them every 3 months. And what else? Oh, I prioritize response to your comments as much as possible when you comment on a video. So that's what it gets you. But more than anything else, it gets you my undying love and appreciation for your support. Now, let's see. How do I say thank you to Tracy? Let's go back to Haas again. Haas and Diet Coke. That's a running theme with Haas. He loves Diet Coke almost as much as I do. All right, let's see. We also have a super sticker from Zen Dwayne. And Zen Dwayne says, sorry, Dave, money is a little tight right now. Hey, you never have to apologize for dropping a super sticker, regardless of the amount. And quite frankly, I don't want anyone to ever feel like they need to do that to show support. You show your support by being here and being engaged. I appreciate the super stickers and the super chats. I love them. That's one of the reasons I do the channel. Is a hobby, but a hobby that makes me a little jingle. I can take the wife out to dinner a couple of times a month. But don't ever feel like you need to apologize. Thank you so much, Zen Dwayne, for your support. And let me do this, Zen Dwayne. Truly appreciate your support, good sir. Let me keep working down. I think I saw another one. Oh, from Chris Butaracos. He says, my favorite guest star in Scooby-Doo, I think, was Don Knotts. Who was yours? Wasn't Jeannie on there too? Barbara Eden? I don't know if Barbara Eden did the voice of the animated adventures of Jeannie. I do know that Mark Hamill was the voice of the main character on that, the young man who finds Jeannie. But my favorite would have had to have been Batman and Robin. But Don Knotts is a very close second. And I believe one of the two Don Knotts episodes, I think Andy Griffith, or an animated version of Andy, unnamed, makes an appearance as well, if I remember right. So good stuff. Love those Scooby-Doo movies. Did you ever watch the Scooby-Doo movies, Thrash?
The movies, yes. In fact, one of them, if I remember correctly, it's supposed to be Martha's Vineyard. They don't call it Martha's Vineyard. They call it something else. But it was actually very popular when I was still working at my movie store. And my assistant manager was a Scooby-Doo fanatic. So we put one on in-store play, and let's just say we got a money's worth out of it. But yes, I do remember the feature films, and they were very cute.
Love them. And they were an hour long, which is one of the things that made them movie-esque. Much like those Super Friends, that first year of Super Friends with Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog were an hour long as well. That's one of the things that made them so darn great. All right, let's, Chris, I appreciate you. And let's do this.
Someone is trying to embarrass me.
Thank you for your support, good sir. All right, let me go back over here. Take that off. And another super chat, a super chat from Chris R., who says, the Kids Superpower Hour with Shazam. Was that on CBS? I'm trying to remember that one. That was early 80s, if I remember correctly. Animated version of Shazam, I think we're talking about here.
Oh,
yeah, that was great. Although I must admit, that was kind of like I was kind of moving away from cartoons when that finally made its appearance. But, I loved the live action version, and I was excited to see that there was an animated version that made its way to Saturday morning TV. Thanks for sharing that, Chris. And I just finished watching Only Murders in the Building, so let's do this.
And now, it's time for a little dance, and here we go.
All right. I think I've worked through them all. No, I haven't. Let's see. We've got another one. I was going to say right now, if there is another one, I might have to throw out the Welk. And there is another one. So everyone can blame our good friend when I find the super chat here. Beast1624, who says, Dave, did you ever see the Supernatural Scooby-Doo crossover episode? It was awesome. No, I haven't, but I've been wanting to see it. I need to track that down because how can it be anything but awesome? I wasn't a huge Supernatural fan, but I did catch a couple of episodes. I'm familiar with it, and the idea that there would be an animated crossover, I totally agree. Does sound super awesome, and I do want to watch it. So, folks, I'm sorry, but I have no other choice. But to do this. Pat McCormick, if you're still with us, anyone else, I'm giving you fair warning that there is going to be a heavy dose of Lawrence Welk coming up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. Thank you very, very, very much.
And
thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. The Welk just doesn't want to go away. Crazy. Thank you very much, Beast1624. Truly appreciate the support. Let me go ahead and take that off the screen. And I think we're in the clear for now. So I'm going to ask you this. I've also got a video prepped on my favorite breakfast cereal. What were your favorite cereals to munch on when you were watching Saturday morning cartoons?
Well, naturally, my all-time favorite was Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries.
Okay, yeah.
And the cool thing about that is it always had some of the coolest toys. It had that little submarine that ran on baking soda. It had that little spy kit. It was just a great prize-ridden cereal, and I loved it. My mother wouldn't always let me have it, but when I did, I gobbled it up literally. I suppose a close second would have to be Frosted Flakes. It's all there, corn flakes with lots of sugar.
Those are almost healthy.
But had plenty of sugar. And Dave, do you remember this? Very briefly, and it's so funny, most people don't even remember this. Pink Panther had his own cereal for a while.
I absolutely remember that.
And essentially, it was cornflakes, Frosted Flakes, but the sugar was pink, and it turned the milk pink as you ate it.
Yeah. And it was it a strawberry flavor? What do you remember the flavor of it? The pink?
I don't. I remember it just being very, very sweet. And but the cool thing was it actually changed the milk to this pink color. That was the big novelty. But I don't recall a specific flavor association other than sweet.
That's why I like Cocoa Pebbles as well. And it's my wife's favorite cereal, sugared cereal. At least it was for a long time. Is you have that yummy chocolatey milk after you were done with the actual cereal. Count Chocula worked similarly. I think my favorite, I've said this before, is Lucky Charms. I am a big Captain Crunch fan, but I have a confession to make, which would be, was it murder on the upper roof of your mouth? Captain Crunch would tear up the upper part of my mouth, and then there was a price to pay for the Captain Crunch.
I would let it sit. I would let it sit for a while, nice and soggy.
Nice. Yeah, I was never that patient. Never that patient. These days, do you have a favorite? I'm curious what you're eating. If you eat a cold cereal these days, what do you eat?
Actually, I've kind of moved on to a much healthier kick. I usually have Wheaties with just a little sugar. I have little sugar packets, and I'll allow myself 1, maybe 2 packet. But I love my Wheaties. I inherited that from my grandfather. He always loved Wheaties. However, I must confess, every now and then, if I'm having a huge nostalgia kick and they're on sale, I might buy myself a box of Captain Crunch to this day.
Yeah, and you deserve it. You deserve it. I do the same thing with Lucky Charms. Every now and again, I've just got to buy myself a box of the Lucky Charms. And I've got to say, not quite as magical as they were when I was a kid, but still pretty good. It's because, that you mentioned that your mom didn't let you have Captain Crunch all the time. Well, neither did our parents didn't let us have our sugared cereal. And so it was kind of a special treat when, for me, it was Lucky Charms. And for my sister, Valerie, who was just a little bit younger than me, hers was Honeycombs. And so we would, to get those cereals, that was a really special event in the Sundstrom home. All right. I'm seeing lots of comments in. Let me see if I can just cover some of these in here real quick regarding different cereals. And Thrash, feel free to chime in as you see one that you might have loved. I think I'm going to skip the video tonight on the cereals, folks. Maybe that's the video we'll show as we transition over to Thrash's live stream. Because let's do this. Let's see. I got it. What a great comment regarding Welk, the Welking Dead. I love it. And Fred Smithberg says, I need bubbles. And Dolph Quick says, oh, my ears. Lord, my ears. And it was a close one, Dave. You almost had Welk back to back, but no. Okay, so here we go. Cereal. B1624 says Fruit Loops. Yeah.
Love them too, Ken Sam.
Custom God with You. Captain Crunch. Keith DJF says Fruity Pebbles. Superfan Dominic D says Count Chocula. Fred Smithberg says I am a no crunch berries man. All right. Oh, look at how healthy Superfan Mike and Kathy are. That's a heart-healthy choice. Cheerios. That was the crap that my mom would buy me every week. No, thank you, Superfan Mike and Kathy. And it wasn't even Cheerios. It was that fake Cheerios stuff that was cheaper. The
generic stuff?
Yeah. Superfan Emily Miller was kind of spoiled as a kid. Looks like she got all of the great Monster cereals. Fruit Brute, Count Chocula, Frankenberry.
And Blueberry.
And Blueberry, yes. Blueberry. Fred Smithberg says chocolate frosted sugar bombs. I don't remember the sugar bombs. Quisp, I remember. That was, I think, and that has made a comeback a couple of times over the years, but that was like a late 60s cereal. Tim says he can't get enough of Sugar Crisp. Yes, Thrash.
There was Quisp and Quake, and they were like rivals. Do you remember that?
I don't. They both sound like their name. Yeah.
Quake was like this cowboy, and Quisp was an alien, and they had a race around the world. And apparently, Quake wasn't well received, so they dropped it. Then it's just Quisp.
Yeah, I just remember Quisp because I remember the little alien. He had a little beanie cap or a little propeller on his head. Yeah. Yes, Superfan Emily Miller remembers Blueberry as well. Gary Carpenter says Fruit Loops. Superfan Superplex says Sugar Pops.
Love
Superfan Sean Innes says Crunch Berries threw the peanut butter taste in a direction I didn't care for. Okay. Fred Smithberg says, remember C-3POs. Do you remember C-3POs?
I do. I never had them. If I remember correctly, they were essentially Captain Crunch in a different shape, which happened a lot back then. That Freakies, remember that cereal that had the little monsters associated with it? It was essentially the same thing. It was Captain Crunch, just in different shapes.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of, I think there was even like a Batman cereal that was like in 89 that was very similar as well.
And Mr. T's, it's cool.
Yep. Mr. T's, yep. Tricks. Superfan Tracy Rothmeyers loves the Tricks. I always felt bad for the rabbit.
I know. Give him a bowl of cereal, damn it. Darn it.
Yeah. Quisp and Quake. There you go. Thrash. Superfan Mike and Kathy, they remember. Mal Havoc has denied himself the simple pleasures of eating breakfast cereal. Okay. All right. I can respect it. It's probably, especially if you're doing like intermittent fasting, that's a good way to kind of get the day started off right. Keith DGAF says the Monster cereals were hands down kids' choice. Okay. Got it. Like Strawberry Nesquik is what Chrominion is saying on the Pink Panther stuff. Cookie Crisps is another good one. John Doe brings up the Cookie Crisps. I remember those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Frosted Flakes and Cinnamon Life. Were you a Life fan? Did you, like Mikey, enjoy Life?
I begged my mother to buy it for me because I love that commercial. And then I did not join Mikey. I didn't like it.
I'm kind of out on it too. It was a little too subtle for me. Yeah. I needed a little more sweetness if I was going to pick a cereal.
It tasted like fiber.
Yeah. Superfan Tracy Rothmeyer says Fruity Pebbles. Zen Wayne says Sugar Pops, Crunch Berries, Frosted Flakes, Sugar Smacks. Aloe Duarte says Quisp Quake, Corn Flakes, Wheaties, Cheerios, Pep, and Total. So those are some healthy choices there at the end. Superfan Emily Miller says, I remember a round cereal with strawberry milk. Anyone else remember that one? I don't. Chrominion says, I'm a huge Pebbles fan, cocoa or fruity, but cocoa is my fave. That's probably the way I lean when it comes to Pebbles. Product 19. As a kid, I'm calling Child Protective Services on your parents. That's rude. Really, Product 19? Crap.
It kind of tasted like Rice Krispies. And so if you put enough sugar on it, maybe.
Yeah,
I did like Rice Krispies.
Have you ever mixed cereals?
Oh, all the time.
Especially when I was a kid. Go ahead.
We used to get remember those boxes? They were like the sample packs with like 16 different cereals.
Yes, I remember those. I love those.
I used to make concoctions like a mad scientist, and I'd do Sugar Smacks with Corn Pops or Frosted Flakes with Count Chocula, and I'm surprised I didn't go into a diabetic coma, but I did.
I love it. So obviously I would like to mix Lucky Charms with anything. But I didn't like to mix too much with like Cocoa Pebbles. I felt like that was a strong enough flavor.
I must confess, mixing the chocolate cereals never worked. Mixing them with something else never worked.
Tim says that he couldn't do the old Captain Crunch trick and wait for the cereal to get soggy. Let's see. Oh yeah, and there's a bunch of folks saying that it was hard on their top roof of their mouth too. John McJunkin, Captain Crunch, Cocoa Puffs, Honeycombs, Frosted Flakes, Rice Krispies. Great choices. You guys, a golden age in breakfast was that shining moment on Saturday mornings when you could, the trifecta really. Think about this, Thrash. There was the trifecta. You would pour yourself the bowl of cereal. You would watch the cartoon, and then all of the commercials were for more cereal. That's what I love. If it wasn't a toy, it was, if it wasn't a toy, it was cereal. Loved them.
It was our time.
All right. I think we need to give away a magazine. So let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and fire up the giveaway engine, and let's put it on the screen here. And I'm going to give everybody I'm going to put myself on mute for a second and cough, so feel free to tell a joke or whatever, Thrash.
Have you heard about the caveman who invented the propeller? You haven't? He has a huge fan club.
Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. Love it. Let's see. We've got 4 entries in. So what you need to do, people, what you need to do is type hashtag retro in the chat. Hashtag retro is what I need you to put in the chat. And this is what's up for grabs. The good people over at Retro Fan Magazine have offered up their latest issue, September 2022, all about beach movies, He-Man, Zorro, the animated Zorro from the early 80s, I want to say, Wild Wild West, Norman Lear, and so much more. It's another great issue. The thing would run you about $11 if you were buying this on the newsstand. I think the digital version's a little less. I think it costs you about $5 if you just want the digital version. You can go over to their site. I'm going to post a link, of course, to RetroFan in the description of this live stream if anybody's interested in checking it out. If you don't win the copy, you can click on the link. You can head on over there, see what they have to offer, pick up a back issue of something maybe, or the current issue. I don't care. They're all good. You know who I have to, I think it was Tom McCluskey that sent me a couple copies of Retro Fan a while back. And that was the first I'd ever heard of this magazine. They really, if you're a nostalgia geek, this stuff is good. All right, how many we got in there? Let me get rid of this. Let's see, we got 40 entries in so far. Let me put the timer up. We're going to give folks another 30 seconds. There we go. And I'm just going to sit here and stare at the timer.
Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock.
43. I'd love to see it get up to 50. I mean, we have 100 people in the chat. Are you telling me? Are you serious that half of you are going, nah, I don't need it. I don't want it. I mean, I don't have to do anything to get it. They're just going to send it straight to my mailbox. So I do have to walk out to my mailbox. I guess that might be too much, but really? Really? I guess I better take this off the screen now. 46. I guess that's as close as we're going to get tonight, Thrash. All right, Bob, tell me when to click the button.
Click.
Dominic D, super fan. Dominic D, people. Congratulations. That is fantastic. Super happy for you. Dominic D is they've been a significant member of the community for a good long time. Always here, always engaged. And I love to see those individuals win the drawings. But I must say, YouTube makes me say this. You don't have to, you don't have to do anything special other than click on that button or other than type in RetroFan in the chat. Yeah, everybody's eligible to win. Everybody's eligible to win. But tonight it's Dominic D, super fan Dominic D. Congratulations, Dominic D. And I believe you know the drill. But if you do not, here's what I need from you. There's my email address. I need you to send me your details. That would include your name and an address. It can be a P.O. box or a physical address. The good folks over at RetroFan do not care. One or the other, but I need that information. Send it to me. I'm going to cough again, Thrash.
Oh, send it to him. I'll just keep babbling incessantly. Folks, remember, I'm doing the little after party after this show wraps up, so please come and join me on my channel. And I'll kick it back to Mr. Dave. Dave. Someday I'll get the hang of the fact that it's a reverse image.
The guy with the cold. The guy with the cold. Someone in the chat asked me if I had made it to last week. I was telling folks that I'd been invited to an Elvis Costello concert. Really wanted to go.
That's why I was able to do the chat.
Yeah, for obvious reasons, I could not go.
Oh, heartbreaker. I didn't realize that. I thought you actually made it to the concert. In fact, I've been meaning to ask. I'm glad I didn't. That would have been awkward.
I could take myself off screen when I do that, but you know, I'm kind of jonesing for the sympathy of the crowd here. So, I do have to say we have a new member tonight.
A new member.
You wouldn't? Well, a new old member. Superfan Lance Chaffin is in the house. Lance has figured out how to. I know he was running into issues with his phone and trying to make it work, and. Well, God bless you, Lance, for making it work. We've had this conversation. You know, whether you're a super fan or not, you're just like everyone else in this community. You're super special. So, but thank you for being that and showing your support that way. Truly appreciate it. And let me see what I can do. Look at that. Emily says, "Welcome back as a super fan." Welcome back, Lance. There it is right there. New member. Woohoo! All right. And let me see. I'm not going to do any Welk. We're done with the Welk tonight. Wonder Woman. I'm feeling Wonder Woman-ish. Little Linda Carter. And where is that? There we go. Thanks for your wonderful support, Lance. All right. So let's see. If there's nothing else, I think we've covered everything that way. We've got one little game. We're going to play one little game, and then we're going to transition over to Thrash's channel. Let's see how everybody does. Here we go, folks. Let's see how many of these cartoons you can identify. And this is a speed. I'm not stopping. We're going through 10 images. Everybody just keep track, and then I'll ask your score at the end. You know this one, Thrash?
I'm keeping. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you that.
All right.
Do we say them as we go?
You don't have to. No, let's not say them. Let's let everybody kind of guess.
Gotcha.
But you can tell me if you know it.
Oh, yeah. So far, I'm 2 for 2.
Awesome. Oh,
this one.
You got it?
And all what hides will hit. Yes, got it.
Nice.
Oh, this of course, got it. The daughter gave it away. That's a hint. Yeah, I got it. Yep. The Jetsons. It was the ponytail. Oh, this one's too easy.
That one is too easy. Just the height tells you it.
Yeah, the differential is.
Yes.
I'm smarter than the average bear. Oh, got it. You wish upon a star. Yeah, Sabrina, yeah. Oh, got it.
I probably shouldn't have put them so closely together. It's kind of one leads into the other.
Oh, please. This should be a free space.
It is the free space of the competition.
Up. Got it. Oh, got it. It's the color patterns that have been giving them away too, by the way, I've noticed.
Yeah.
The blurring helps, but yeah.
All right.
I'm 10 for 10. How about you, Dave?
Well, I made I made it, so I was 10 for 10 too, but that's only because I think I would have. I'd like to think that I would have been 10 for 10. Let's see how everybody else did. I'm going to go into the comments section. Let's see how folks did. Give me your final scores, folks. B1624 got 7 of them. Claude Sailing got 6. Custom God got 10 of 10. Let's see. 100%. Superfan Sean Ennis got 100%. Nicely done. Take that off the screen. Yeah, it was kind of easy, but that's because we're experts. I think all of us here tonight are experts in Saturday morning cartoons. 8 of 10 for Mr. Lead, Crominion, Miss Sabrina. 9 of 10. James Dye was 9 of 10. My Flock is Everywhere was 10 of 10. Let's see. Marlene Pearson was 10 of 10. Yay. Yay. Superfan Superplex, 9 for 10. Superfan Mike and Kathy got about half of them right. The Traveler got all 10 right. Waj Amin got 7 of 10. S. Jamie Ola, 9 of 10. John McJunkin, 10 of 10. Mike Silva, 8 of 10. Superfan Rom 58, 10 of 10. Neldam, Maximus Prime, 10 of 10. B1624, 7. Fred Smithberg, 9 of 10. Tom Lemery, 7 of 10. Superfan Emily Miller got 9 of 10. Excellent job. Danny Staten says he has almost all of them. Got comic books of them all. Superfan Lance Chaffin, 7 of 10. Ken Wilkinson was 4 of 10. Maud Matilda H. got them all. Zen Wayne got them all. Nicely done. Superfan Rob Pinto got 9 of 10. Miss Sabrina. Superfan Tracy Roth Myers got 9 of 10. Tom McCluskey, 10 of 10. Yes, you rock tonight. Al Duarte got 1. Okay. Sarita Abney, 9 of 10. Era Enoch, the Altrusian, got all of them. I know it went fast. I apologize for that. I probably should have slowed it down. But I want to get us all over to the second part, probably the more lively part of the live stream this evening because of my still being a bit under the weather. Thrash
Dave, when you're sick, you're still better than I am. Let's face back. You're amazing.
Stop it. Sakina McMurrin, 10 of 10. Superfan Dominic D. Our retro fan winner tonight, 10 of 10. Dave Thomas, 8 of 10. Let's see. John Bernstein, 10 of 10. Yeah, it went pretty fast, John. My apologies. I might do it again later on and slow it down, maybe with different images, though. Superfan Rom, 58, 10 of 10. I should have made it harder, says Mal Havoc. Al Duarte, 9 of 10. John Doe, 10 of 10. Gary Carpenter, 10 of 10. The Josh Sings, 10 of 10. I think that might be it for scores. And with that, let me go ahead and take that comment off. So here's the plan. Why don't you tell them the plan so I can take a drink?
You do that. So here's the plan. I'm going to bail on you guys now. I'm going to set up my live chat, get the thing going. Dave is going to provide you guys with one more little film vignette for your entertainment. And then afterwards, it will post the link, theoretically, to my live chat. If not, just join me right here. Reverse image right here. Oh, now we're gone. At my channel, Thrash Pound Pawns. And by that time, I should have my live chat up and going, and you're all welcome to join. Many of you already have, but I'd love for any of you who haven't at least joined me for one of my live chats yet to come by and join us tonight. We always have a lot of fun. Ask Lance and Superplex, and Emily just recently joined us with my last chat last week. So please, all are welcome. And again, we'll just kind of keep the party going until it fills us out.
And I'm just typing it in right now. Let's see if it goes on over. There we go.
And Dave, while we have another few seconds, I just want to say super kudos on your endorsement with MeTV, by the way. That is epic. That is you're a legend. That's amazing.
Well, you know what? I truly believe in MeTV, and really it's the partnership that I have is with Friendly TV, who is the exclusive streaming platform for MeTV. But in addition to MeTV, they have over 40 other channels, many of them retro nostalgia channels, including another fave of mine that I'm just discovering because I have Friendly TV. Have you ever watched the Decades channel? It's another great channel that's on Friendly TV.
It sounds familiar. I might have not realizing what it is. Continue.
Really good. They not only have like old shows on it, like the Dick Van Dyke Show and things like that. A lot of programming from the 60s and 70s. But they have original programming as well, like what happened on this day. They have a full hour, and they'll go back and like cover news events and specific things that happen in the world of entertainment for that day, whatever the day is. So like today would be for September 1st. Just really great programming. Big fan of Decades as well. But MeTV, that's the king. That's the big daddy of retro nostalgic TV. I think they were probably one of the first out there to provide that kind of programming, and it's so darn good. Lance says the link did not work. I'm gonna have to test it out myself here in just a minute.
It might not show up until I actually get the actual live chat going. You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't started it yet. So maybe I should bail now and get the whole thing going. Give me like 120 seconds.
Get out of here, Thrash. Thanks again for helping me out tonight, and I'll see you over on your live stream.
Ciao for.
All right. So Thrash is over there getting his live stream set up. It is part 2, a continuation of this. So if you guys are not done, if you want to hang out with us a little bit more, then click on that link. I'll double check it and make sure it's still working. If I need to repost it to the chat, I will. But Thrash is setting it up right now. He's furiously behind the scenes getting that all set up, fired up, so that when you head over there, so you might have to get to his channel and then reload the page a couple of times. But hang out with us. Spend a little bit more time this evening, and let's talk more about cartoons, anything else that you want to do. So with that, I'm going to leave you with a final video myself. And again, I will, while we're doing that, I will double check on that link. But I do want to say to everybody before I do that, thank you, one, for being so patient with me tonight as I kind of work through this illness. I've had a cold and a cough for going on a week and a half now. And I know it's not COVID. I've been tested 3 times, twice at home and 1 time in a doctor's office. But I just want everyone to know how much I appreciate you and how grateful I am to YouTube, but even more so to each one of you for being valued members of this community and just bringing so much joy to my life as we do these live streams and as I make the videos and everybody gets all engaged and comments on the videos. We've had really robust conversation over the past few days. I've posted a video on Bill Cosby and then another video on an episode of MASH during season 1 that really changed the course of that TV series. And I've just really been in both cases, just great comments, really good, solid conversation. The Cosby video was a tough one, and I think it's a tough one for a lot of us. And what I loved was how respectful everybody was of each other's opinions. And that's one of the things that makes this community so darn good. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for each one of you for making, you are what makes this channel the good stuff. And so with that said, folks, I'm going to head on over to Thrash's live stream myself in just a minute. But first, I'm going to go ahead and count down the top 5 breakfast cereals of the 80s. Here we go. Truth be told, the only thing I think I loved more than Saturday morning cartoons when I was a kid was eating a big bowl of sugared cereal while watching Saturday morning cartoons. So many bowls and so many wonderful cartoons. It was pretty cool when the two merged like they did with Mr. T cereal here. The other day while I was putting together a video about the A-Team, I stumbled across this image of Mr. T cereal, and all of a sudden I started to recall all of the wonderful comments that various YouTubers have left about their favorite cereals from the 80s. And most of these comments weren't about the classics. You know, the cereals that have been around for decades. Apple Jacks, Fruit Loops, Sugar Pops, the meat and potatoes of the sugared cereal aisle. And we're certainly not talking about my favorite, the king of all sugared cereals, Lucky Charms. This was my go-to cereal whenever we could talk my mother into something other than Cheerios and shredded wheat. So anyway, without any further ado, let me introduce you to the 5 sugared cereals from the 80s with some sort of product tie-in that are most often mentioned by my fellow YouTubers. So here are the contenders, the cereals that seem to have been mentioned most often in the comments section of my various videos. I put all 5 of these cereals in a survey for you to vote on, and over 400 of you did exactly that. So here are the results. Let's do it. Let's find out which of these cereals is the one that, as a child, you requested most often in the breakfast aisle. Oh, so many years ago. Coming in at number 5 is Donkey Kong cereal. Only 9% of survey respondents thought that this cereal was the best. Clearly, the arcade game was much better than the cereal. With 12% of the votes, we've got another arcade game. Number 4 was Pac-Man cereal from Kellogg's. I actually liked this cereal quite a bit. It was probably because the Mrs. Pac-Man and the Ghost Marshmallows reminded me of Lucky Charms. And along with Smurfberry Crunch, YouTuber Willow Devereaux is a fan as well. In fact, so much so that she said she would buy both Smurfberry Crunch and Pac-Man cereal if they were still being made today. Quick sidebar, I stumbled across this photo from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. You can see both Pac-Man and Donkey Kong cereal in the bottom right corner there. But does anyone else remember buckwheats? Aside from the famous character on the Little Rascals, the name does sound familiar, but I can't remember if I ever tried them or not. Help me out, people. If you remember eating buckwheats, tell me about them in the comments section of this video, and if they're still around, I've got to know. Alright, back to the survey. With 14% of the votes, Kellogg's C-3POs have found the middle ground. I remember getting these just because they were Star Wars related. I didn't love them. I wanted to love them, but I just didn't. They were a fairly non-offensive, crunchy type cereal comprised of oats, wheat, and corn. Maybe, just maybe, if they'd put mini lightsabers or some other cool Star Wars themed toy inside of the box, I might have asked for them more often. As such, I think we might have been a one and done with these guys in the Sundstrom home. Still, unopened boxes of these things are worth a pretty penny these days. It makes me wonder what YouTuber Rome Ticklin might be able to get if he were to sell his unopened box of C-3POs on eBay today. Whatever you decide to do with them, my friend, please do not eat them. They weren't great back when they were fresh. And they've got to be absolutely horrible after all these years, even if they were packed with vitamins. Coming in at number 2 with 20% of the votes is Mr. T cereal. This is probably the cereal that I would have voted on as the best of the lot. I not only like this cereal, which I remember tasting like a mix of honeycombs and Captain Crunch, but I loved the marketing for this cereal, which was made by the fine folks at Quaker Oats. Plus, the cereal had a pretty darn sweet cameo in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, one of my favorite movies of all time. I totally agree with Devil Dog 3381 when he or she says that he can't look at Mr. T cereal without hearing Pee-wee Herman's voice. So anyway, through sheer process of elimination, I'm sure that most of you have figured out that the number 1 cereal from the 80s, at least from this motley crew of contenders, is Smurfberry Crunch. An amazing 49% of you voted for this cereal, which I don't think I ever tried back when Post was making it. I wasn't a Smurf fan, so I just didn't get sucked in by the marketing. However, lots of comments about Smurfberry Crunch seem to corroborate the extremely high percentage of you that voted for this cereal. Apparently, besides an amazing commercial jingle for the cereal, it actually tasted pretty darn good. David Davidson said that they were his favorite, and I think Logic Can't Be Broken said it best when he called the cereal unearthly good. I don't know if you can get higher praise than that, unless you're talking about E.T. cereal. Sure, it's not around anymore, but I'm still reminded of that cereal every now and again when I have myself a big bowl of Reese's Puffs. Of all the sweetened cereals out there these days, if I'm not eating Lucky Charms, I'm having a big bowl of Puffs, which, by the way, are great to eat without milk as a snack while watching Andy Griffith, Buck Rogers, or Kolchak the Night Stalker on MeTV these days. So that's it. One last picture, this time from a vintage commercial promoting the #1 cereal from the 80s. Man, those Smurfs were popular. Maybe I should have given their cereal a try. Anyway, what do you think? Did you love Smurfberry Crunch as much as my channel viewers who participated in my online survey did? If not, what was your favorite and why? Remember, we're not talking about the classics here, just those cereals that came and went during one of the greatest decades ever, the 80s. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and while you're at it, please click on the like button. And maybe, just maybe, subscribe to my channel. I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.